Okay, right. Well, here we go. We're back again. It's a Sunday morning, so hi Matt.
Hey Mark, yeah, back on another Sunday slot. Yep, staying out of the horrible weather in Paris, but there you go. So no, good to be back, and yeah, we wanted to continue our topic, but I'll let you
Yeah, yeah.
introduce today's.
Okay, we'll do. Yeah. So first of all, happy Super Bowl Sunday to our US viewers because we do have quite a few of those, and it's
Yep.
a big one today. Nice, exciting one. My team, the Dolphins, made the playoffs this year, but which is the first time they've made the playoffs in like forever. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, it should be a really good game. It's just a pain that it's on so late over here, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking, why don't they just do the Super Bowl at 3 o'clock or something on in the States, and then we us old farts wouldn't have to stay up so late. But anyway, if anybody's into football, good.
I don't think you'll get that changed.
I don't think so. No. So, right. So straight into this topic as a follow up from the conversation that we had on Wednesday, which was basically how do you go about quitting alcohol? And I hope that it was a useful video. It's one of those subjects that is really endless, I think, in terms of subject matter. There's so many layers. It's so nuanced, but hopefully we were able to sort of capture the main threads, the main points. The conversation that we want to have as a follow up is okay, so you've decided to stop drinking alcohol and you're feeling great about yourself. And what can typically happen, or what can happen at least, is you get 3 or 4 weeks into it, and the novelty, if you like, can sort of wear off. And for some, that can lead to some challenging times, and so really just wanted to have a talk about how you keep going. And there's lots of there's lots of thoughts and ideas as to how you can keep going and keep yourself away from the demon drink, if that's what you want to do. So we're going to talk about that today. And so I thought, yeah, Matt, I mean, I normally hand over to you at this point and get a few thoughts from you, and then I intend to augment that with a load of my own waffle. So tell us, what do you think?
All
You've
right. Yeah. No, I can take over. So yeah, really, we were chatting actually after the last session we did, and we felt no, we hadn't finished, and as we mentioned in the last video, we wanted to carry on this topic. And I think for me, what I want to do really is carry on through the list of steps, if you like, that are actually in my book. And I think it takes you from, obviously, as we spoke about last time, making that big decision. It is a big decision, and it's super important. Then we talked about obviously creating your plan. That's absolutely key in my opinion. Get a piece of paper, write down for the first 2 weeks of your sober journey exactly what you're going to be doing. You've got to fill that time. You've got to keep yourself occupied. You've got to distract yourself. Really, it's like any habit. You distract yourself away from it, and then you're on to a winner. um, I think one key point as well, which I can't remember if we covered, but it's deciding if you need professional help. There is plenty of it out there. There's the well-known ones. There's AA. There's many support groups. It can just be videos like this. That really was um, my key. Really, that helped me enormously, and that's what kind of drove us really to do these ourselves. Is it was just so helpful for me because you open up this community, you open up this kind of Pandora's box of people who have been through the same thing, who have really interesting things to say about it, who show you, and it keeps you motivated. And every morning I would watch 5-10 minutes of videos, and it could be celebrities, it could be Steve-O from Jackass doing various sort of snippets of his journey on sobriety. It could be Kevin O'Hara, it could be Craig Beck, all these people who have great things to say. So then obviously create your plan. We've spoken about that. And I think the next thing is, and this is all, you'll see where I'm going here, but the next thing is to tell people or not. And you really have that choice. And it's a delicate one, really, because some people want to go out and shout. And I think it's a worthy thing to shout about. Getting sober is a fantastic thing to do. Don't think of it in any other way. But like myself, I chose to keep it quite quiet at first. I really wanted to keep it within the close family. I didn't feel the need personally to go out and straight away put things on Facebook or Instagram. Now, some people, for that, doing that is super helpful, because it gives them that motivation. It gives them that, from the word go, I want to post my journey. I want to tell everyone about it, and keep going, and that holds them in. But for me, and just brutally honestly, I suppose, I kind of wanted to make sure that it was done before I publicized it. And it took me about a year or two before I actually put it up on Facebook. I'm an old boy, so Facebook was my means of social media at the time. I've evolved a little bit, but you have that choice, and I think that's important. So talking about staying sober, I think another key one, and this is really interesting, and we could talk about this for forever, and maybe we should sit down and come up with some, but you're going to get questioned about your sobriety for the rest of your life. It's just a fact. People will always ask you why you don't drink, because you will refuse a drink. I was at a party on Thursday, a works do, and of course trays of champagne coming around, and I say no. And some people, ask me, "Oh, you're not having a drink? Don't you want? It's free." And you need to think about how you're going to answer that question. There's many ways. You can go for the sort of comical way, I guess. So, sometimes I'll say, look, I turned pro at 17, and then, retired 5 years ago from drinking. You can talk about the honest answer and just say, drink was a problem for me, and actually I wanted to see what it was like without it. I felt that my life was going the wrong way, and I stopped, and everything now is absolutely fabulous. Or you can lie. You can say, actually, do you know what? I'm on medication at the moment, and I just can't drink. The choice is yours, but you need to think about it, and you need to be ready. And I think that is part of staying sober, is having that response, that answer. I'm not going to go into all of them now, because I'm going to pass back to Mark in a minute. But I think one, and we've been into one of these on last videos, but exercise is super important. And I think maybe we'll do a whole video on exercise. I know we've touched on it a few times, but that's important. And then, as Mark touched on earlier, I think you really do need to think about it as a journey, because you know what? It will come back into your mind. It'll come back into your mind. It'll invite you in. It'll puff up the cushions. It'll ask you to sit down, and it'll look at you and go, what if you had a drink? You can control it now. You haven't drunk for 6 months. You've proved to everybody that you can stop. Why don't you have a drink? And that will happen. And I can assure you that it will happen. So you need to have the counter arguments in your head. You need to just think about how bloody good your life is, how all the amazing things that have happened. So for me, the weight loss, the financial gain, the pride restored, the fact that my family stood back in awe, and just everything positive around work. Just keep those things, and compare your good days to what your bad days were. And I promise you will, that'll be incentive enough. And you may slip up. We spoke about this last time. I don't like the word relapse. I think it's too brutal. I think it's too linked to the whole alcoholic thing. You may slip up. If it happens, it happens. Get up and go again. So I'll hand back to Mark now. I think I've thrown a few things out there. I think there's plenty more to say, but just my initial thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was just, yeah. I mean, God, I mean, I feel like you really nailed pretty much all of it. Actually, that was really good. I was just listening. That got me really sort of thinking about it and listening. And I think one of the things you said, which I would agree with, and it reminds me of the James Clear statement that the trajectory of your life tends to bend in the direction of your habits. And I think what you are doing is creating a habit. You're creating a habit of of not drinking. And every day that goes by, that habit becomes, you know, thicker and thicker. And it's and I think that you know what I experienced was over a period of time. I mean, definitely go through phases. I think you get the initial kind of almost euphoria. I've stopped drinking. This is amazing.
Honeymoon period, massively, yeah.
Certainly I did. And then it sort of levels out a bit and becomes kind of slightly the norm. But what I experienced during that period was a sense of huge relief. I remember just on occasions thinking, all this worry and hassle and stress that used to come with alcohol has been taken away now. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to worry about that. And I know I've said this before, and I know it's only a little thing, but it's kind of a little thing, not a little thing. Like going out in the evening for dinner, not having to worry about driving, not having to worry about, have I had too many drinks? Should I drive? Do I need the stress of it? You know, I don't know that there's many of us who haven't probably driven over the limit. Not maybe a lot over the limit, but you know, we've been out, you have a glass of wine, maybe you have another glass of wine, and then you get in the car. And if you see those blue flashing lights, you know, it's very, very stressful. And I think that's a huge relief. So that sort of sense of relief definitely kept me going. Everything you said about tuning into the podcast, getting that injection, getting that reminder, finding, you know, tuning into the community of other people, just seeing that there's loads of other people that have done what you're doing, who've seen all the benefits. It used to really inspire me to keep going, to see these people that had changed their lives. I mean, you know, we're doing this on a Sunday morning. Our day is stretched out in front of us. We can do whatever we want with today. I was at a party last. I won't tell you how old the guy was because it's embarrassing to have friends that are that age now. But they were far too old to be doing what they were doing, and there was like a DJ and all the rest of it. And you know, I can see the cars all parked out there now. They'll all be in bed. They'll be absolutely, you know, I mean, I would have been, today would have been an absolute write-off, and it isn't. So I think I just agree with everything you've said. And I'm just looking at my notes here, actually. One other thing I did as well as a tip is if ever I did feel that sort of, I loved your analogy of, you know, it sort of invites you back in, you know, and sort of fluffs up the pillows. That was really, really good. I would, and I think this is maybe this is even an AA technique, I don't know, but I would just say, do you know what? I'm just not going to drink today. I'm not going to drink today. Today's the day. I'm not looking much further forward to that, but I know I'm not going to drink today. And normally, of course, you get through it and it passes. And I think you made the point of just trying to get out in front of it. You know, again, I'm just repeating what you said, but I think the people will ask you about the fact that you're not drinking. And when you first stop, it's hard actually. I found it really difficult because I didn't really know what to say. I didn't think I felt comfortable saying, well, it became a bit of a problem. I didn't, you know, it was getting in the way. I felt like, you know, what I can tell you is that over time it does get easier. You don't really think about it. You don't worry about it. But I think you've used the term elevator pitch before, Matt.
Yeah.
I would suggest you map out your elevator pitch, which is a question you can theoretically answer between, you know, floor 10 and the bottom floor. If you're in an elevator and somebody asks you a question, it's something that you can explain quickly. So get that down, you know. For me, I just got sick of it. You know, I'll be honest with you, I got sick of it. I did a dry January and I liked it so much that I just decided to carry on. And just for me personally, it was the best thing I ever did. And for right now, it's good. And I don't want to, you know, just for right now, I just don't want to carry on drinking. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've got much more to add in all honesty to what you said, but just to agree with everything you said, really.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree more with what you said. I think one other technique is distraction. So, you know, if you are having a moment, I also want to go back to this key fundamental point that I 100% believe in, is that many people use alcohol to combat boredom. You know, if you are busy doing something, you are generally not thinking about drinking. And it's the same when you stop. You need to fill your days, and use distraction. So if you're sat at home and maybe you live on your own and that is really tough, and you're thinking, oh God, this is, God, if I had a drink now, I'd enjoy my afternoon or whatever. Go and do something else. Just get up, put your coat on, walk out the door, go somewhere, go anywhere, go to the park, go to a friend's house, go to the cinema. Just break that habit, break that distraction, bring it in. And I think that helped me loads. And I actually made a real point of it. I said to my wife, when I first started, I said, I'm going to do things, and I may do things on my own, but I need to do them. So like the cinema, I think I went 2 to 3 times a week in the evening on my own. And that, to me, it killed that time when I would normally drink, that sort of, 7:30, 8 p.m. to maybe 10 p.m. time, or earlier. I was in the cinema, and yeah, I'd buy sweets. My God, I would stack up on the sweets, popcorn, whatever. I didn't care because I wasn't drinking. And that's another thing as well, maybe we haven't talked about, is reward yourself. You know, don't, if you can just get off the drink, if you want to go and have a chocolate eclair, or if you want to go and have a pizza or whatever, go and have it. Reward yourself. You're off the booze, and that's another thing that's super important. But yeah, I think we will no doubt have more things to say as these videos evolve. And do subscribe, do give us a thumbs up. It helps the channel, it helps us. And we do these things because we're actually on what I call step 10, and that is help others. If we didn't believe in what we were doing, if we didn't think that these would help, we wouldn't be doing them. And yeah, there's enjoyment for ourselves, I know that, but it's that's a super important thing. And all of you out there, I thoroughly recommend that, after a period of sobriety, maybe you'll get to step 10, and you can help others too. It's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I think, I guess I've witnessed the transformation of you, Matt. I think, talking about all the benefits and the upsides and sort of rewarding yourself. I've seen this complete transformation from somebody who's always, you were always you, but when you were drinking and all the rest of it, you were slightly detached, you were slightly
Mm.
distracted. I very often wondered whether I was really talking to you, or just a sort of almost a kind of an avatar that you'd created, that you were sort of presenting to the world. And I felt, and I did sometimes get a sense of that. And what I really appreciate now, and just see kind of with so much clarity, is just this different human being who's returned to that person who is connected, who is dialed in, who is responsive, is kind of interested, is, I don't know. And I think we've used this term before, and maybe it's one to just leave everybody with now, is that there is this, if you're struggling, if you're really battling with this, I want you to know that there's just this future version of you who is a a great version of you, who is probably the best version of you. And we just want to help you meet that person as quickly as you possibly can. And by not putting alcohol in your mouth, um, you just the we've used the term superpower before. The transformative impact is it's breathtaking. It's incredible. And I think there is a trend. I think this isn't something which is, this isn't happening in isolation now. More and more and more people are questioning booze. And I do wonder whether one day it might even end up being regarded in the same way that smoking is. So anyway, we've probably said enough. I'll leave my bit from there. But Matt, is there anything else you wanted to add, or are we?
No, I don't think. I think your last comment was the perfect way to finish. There is a real return to self, and I've found that. I will go back to the analogy of, none of us drank as kids, and a lot of us found happiness as kids. And why is it that the adult world requires or pushes you into the ideology of drinking, that is how we have fun when we're adults? There are other ways, and you find them, and trust me, um, what you're capable of when you quit drinking is astounding, and it has blown the doors open for me. And it's a great thing.
Brilliant. Fantastic. We will leave it there. That was really, really good. We'll come up with a new topic to discuss probably next week. But for now, thanks for listening. Cheers, Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.